Welcome back, everybody, to Samurai Reviews. Today, we will be reviewing Uncut Gems, starring Adam Sandler, director...
So I wasn't supposed to bring my rock collection?
No, sorry.
That's fine. I'll wing it.
Directed by the Safdie brothers. This is like their second kind of big film.
Yeah.
Other than that, they've done short films. Anyways... This review video, we're going to be discussing spoilers and non-spoilers kind of combined together a little bit because there's not really much to talk about within the spoilers.
Apparently there is, but we don't feel that way. If you want to watch a deep dive, like, you're going to have to watch someone else because we did not feel that this is worthy of a deep dive. If you want one, comment
down below.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, we can go deep into why this doesn't deserve one for sure. But yeah, this movie was definitely one of the ones that we kind of came out of just kind of like, did I miss something? Because it's been getting a lot of
praise.
Yeah. And there are parts of this movie that deserve that praise. But for the most part, I was kind of like, it was fine. And it's about Adam Sandler plays this guy named Howard, and he's this jewel salesman who kind of has a gambling addiction, and he's always just trying to get ahead of the game, and he's always gambling money that he owes to someone else, and it gets him into trouble. And he has this gem that's kind of at the center of the story, and that's really it. Like that, just in that, imagine pitching this movie to someone. Like, you're like, so it's this guy, right? And he gets this rock, and it's an opal. And Kevin Garnett comes in, and he's like, I like that rock.
It's magical.
It's a magic rock. And Adam Sandler's like, yeah, but it's $1 million rock. And then he's like, no, it ain't. And then Adam Sandler's like, you're right, here. And that's the movie. You'd be like, well, that doesn't make sense. Who pitched? I want to see like the pitch of this movie.
Yeah, it's strange.
It is a weird, but that's kind of the good parts of it is it's
movie,
creative, and it's supposed to be chaotic, and I think the Safdie brothers do a very good job of showing that chaos in this movie, if that was what they're going for. So they did show that very well. I think kind of similarly to what you were saying about 1917, they do a great job of bringing out each bit of emotion and character in the actors and actresses in this movie. I mean, there are so many really good performances in this movie. And I think that's kind of the selling point of this one, is just the actor and actresses' performances. Adam Sandler and Julia Fox are definitely the forefront of this movie, and they do absolutely fantastic. Julia Fox, this is her first movie, and she does tremendous. And this has been a year of like a bunch of first-time actresses that have just killed it. So she's on the board now too with that, and she does terrific. And it has.
I was even surprised with Kevin. I'm not Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett. Yeah.
KG is weirdly good at acting.
Yeah.
So he does a crazy good job. And then they also have Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah. And he's been in so many good roles and stuff. He's always plays really good supporting roles, and he does it again here. And yeah, and that's the most entertaining part of this, is just seeing the actors and actresses be able to fully bring out their character.
There's scenes in there where it was people were just kind of talking over each other. Mm-hmm. They were yelling, and I don't think all of that was scripted in the script. And it was definitely just those scenes were kind of just played off the character and how they would react, and it was very improv-ish type like feel within those scenes that they have. And you gotta, like Brett said, you gotta give credit to those actors bringing out their character and how they would react in those situations. And it was just
felt very authentic.
Really good. Yeah,
this is one of the more authentic feeling movies of the year, and yeah, it's probably definitely top 3 in terms of just authenticity. But that doesn't mean it's not without its problems. So aside from it just being kind of like, what was the point? It also kind of, specifically me, because I've read a few reviews, and when I was reading them, apparently everyone else had a different opinion on this. But I was watching it, and I just had a lack of empathy for so many of these characters, except for Kevin Garnett, and that's just because I'm a Celtics fan. And I was like, I want KG to win that game, and that's like the thing I was focused on. But I didn't really care about Howard. Like, I thought he was an asshole, and he's supposed to be an asshole.
Or his family.
But everyone kept saying he's an endearing asshole, and I'm like, no, he's just an asshole. And the thing is, you get tired of seeing him lose, but it's not because you want to see him win. It's just because you just don't want to see him lose anymore, and you don't care.
I was
Or
like,
that's how we felt
just get it
anyways.
over with.
Yeah.
And they finally
They
did.
did.
And that was at the end with like, after we watched 2 hours of this movie,
Yeah.
and I'm all like, finally,
It was.
it's done.
I don't know if the point was to make it feel like pulling teeth, but it definitely felt like that at times. The only time I was really into this movie was when it started picking up about the last hour of the movie. And it got a lot more fast-paced and a lot more things started happening. Like, he would make a decision and then something would actually happen because of it, rather than him, like, screwing someone over and then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then he screws him over again. And he's, oh, I'm sorry. And that's kind of how the first, like, hour 15 of this went. And it was just kind of like, I'm tired of seeing him just do that. And finally, he starts facing these consequences, and they start getting a little crazier, a little crazier, a little crazier. And that's the part of the movie that I was the most entertained with. But it took me an hour to get to that point.
I like to kind of compare this, the entertainment value level, with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it just had this slow build up and then it started happening all the way at the end.
Yeah.
Even though Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a lot longer than this movie, it just kind of had that same feeling where you're just kind of dragged along through this this guy's timeline, and then just in the end, it just things start happening.
I also compared it to Once Upon a Time. It just has, it's such an average movie with some unusual plot points that don't quite pan out. So, like, there's multiple moments in this movie where I'm like, why am I supposed to care about this? And then, like, I'm not. Like, it doesn't, like, he fires this one guy in the middle of the movie, and then they show the guy later, and you're like, oh, remember when he fired him? And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't matter.
He's just staring him down the street.
Yeah, and
then
also I didn't
that's
even
it.
know his name. Like, we saw him for like 5 seconds. And then there's some weird, like, if I really want to get nitpicky about it, I can be, one time they like strip him and put him in the trunk, and then he has his phone, and I'm like, where was his phone? They took all his clothes and then threw him in the trunk naked. Where was his phone? Where was his phone, Josh? Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just a lot of stuff where I'm like, that's really convenient, and that didn't make sense to me. And then there's like,
His hole. It was up his hole.
I take it back. No, and
Sorry.
then there's like, he has like this cousin or brother or a family member who he owes money to, and he's the boss of these two guys. I swear the whole movie, like, he was supposed to be the boss, and then at the end they just like shoot him, and I'm just like, was
he
it that
wasn't
your
the
boss?
Yeah. Weren't
Like,
you?
what is
weren't
going
you
on?
there-
Who is in charge?
Weren't you there thugging him to get money?
Yeah.
And then he finally won getting money, and you're like, okay, things are.
I don't want it.
Things are gonna work
I
out.
want
And then
it,
he
yeah.
shoots both of them, and you're just like, well, you're not going to get your money now.
I'm so confused as to what the hierarchy was. Is it supposed to be like, oh, you can't trust anyone in this game? Because they didn't really set that up, because the whole time he was like, you're nothing without your lackeys. And then his lackeys end up killing him. So the setup was weird. And maybe that's part of their chaotic kind of feel that they're going for. But it just was, I was confused when that happened, rather than just like, oh, wow. Like, it was just, well, what? I thought I missed something.
I kind of understood the direction that the directors were going for and their creative, like, tone that they had for this movie. That's why I give, like, the directing a pretty high score, 9 out of 10 for this movie. I thought the acting was also phenomenal, 8 out of 10. There was some really surprising roles there. The visual appeal was kind of weird because there was a lot of grain to this movie. And I don't know the reason why.
It was weird. They were like trying to go for like an 80s vibe, but it was set in 2012. And they had like synth music in the back, and you're just kind of like, why?
Yeah, like the 80s kind of pop.
It's not 80s.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
Again, maybe it's going straight over our heads, but I feel like it was just kind of like one of those movies that people watch and it's so unique, because it is unique, that people just want to be like, oh, it's just so deep, and the chaos of it is so beautiful.
That's why it was so grainy.
Like, I feel like people,
it's
just want to be that guy. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm just an idiot, but that's how a lot of the movie felt. It was like, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, and then those weird scenes with like how it goes inside the gem and then it goes into a human's organ, and it does the same thing at the end where it's like goes into a human's like body and then it goes into the gem, and I was like, and then it's the universe, and I'm just like this does not fit.
I feel like someone smoked a whole dang bowl and then wrote that.
I wasted probably 15 minutes just watching those the one in the beginning, one in the end combined together. That
they were
wasn't necessary. Yeah,
it was extremely long. I was like, I get it. You're in the gem now. It was like it was weird because the gem also it wasn't really important. They talked about it a lot, but it wasn't important. And it wasn't this like, it turned out to be like cheaper than they thought.
Yeah, it wasn't this cosmic.
It was only important to Kevin Garnett. Yep. That's the only person it was important to. But it was supposed to be like, that was the center of this movie. It's called Uncut Gems. They started it out going into the gem. They finished it going out of the gem. I don't get it. But they do have excellent acting, and it has its compelling moments. It has its dramatic moments. I see the appeal of it, and I respect the process they went through to make it.
And the direction.
And it is creative as hell.
Yeah.
It is extremely creative, original story. I understand if people like this. I just don't understand when people say like this is the best movie I saw all year.
I didn't understand like, oh, this movie was snubbed in the Oscars, and I'm just like, no.
I can't see it winning a single Oscar.
I still don't understand why Once Upon a Time was even up there in the Oscars, but sure.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely one of those movies like if you don't really need a compelling story. I know we talked about this a little bit in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood review, where it was like it wasn't really a compelling cathartic story for me, so I didn't connect with that movie, but some other people just like to just watch something happen on screen, and that's art to them, and that's fine. But like that if that's your thing, this is a good movie for you. But if you want that cathartic experience, or that experience of just having like emotion drawn from you and just like really getting into the characters and wanting to know what their lives entail, I don't think this movie is ideal for that. Howard's character and his story definitely felt original and creative. It was what they tried to do to throw you off in it that didn't have the authenticity that the rest of it had. Like with the ending, there's the grand ending where he wins his like bet, and he won them a ton of money, and the guy just comes in and just shoots him immediately, and it's supposed to be like, what? And it was kind of like, the Joker. Yeah. Yeah, the Joker did that. So like, you've seen this before, and it's something we say a lot, and that's kind of what we're trying, like, I don't want movies to just pick good scenes from other movies. Like, work off of it, build off of it. Because if you don't, then it's not as predictable as you think it's going to be.
I knew from the beginning this was going to be a tragedy.
Oh, yeah,
movie.
yeah. He was, like, the first scene, I was like, that guy's dying at some point. Yeah, do you want to give your rating?
Yeah, I'm going to give this, a 6. I'm going to give it a 6. The entertainment value wasn't there. I'll probably just watch. This is probably the only time I watch it. Kind of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I felt like there were more things hidden in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. A little bit more messages behind like the scenes and that kind of stuff.
Long as Once Upon a Time I would still rather watch that.
Rather than Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I agree.
And I didn't like the chaotic feel for it, but that's just my personal opinion.
So, actually,
I do respect the director and why he conveyed that, and it made sense for that movie. I just didn't like it personally, so.
It was the chaos in this movie. It definitely was like the first 5 minutes of it when they give you that opening scene in the jewelry store. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. This is good. This makes sense. And then about like 30 minutes in, you're like, okay, keep doing it. There's too much chaos. What's going on? And you don't know what the story is.
And it keeps going, and then they go to like this other place, and there's just so many people, and they're talking over each other.
It starts as art, and then it gets to the point where you're like, I can't appreciate the art. It's too loud. But anyways, my rating is also a 6. This was a really tough one for me because I was seriously like, for me personally, this is probably like a 5, like in terms of just entertainment. but like I can see how people could give this like a 7 or something like that. Like that makes sense to me. And so because of that respect that I have for the acting in this and the direction, I definitely think there is value above an average movie to this. So that's why I gave it a 6. I do think this is overrated. I think it is getting. Please comment and tell me why, because I'm seriously like, after I got in the movie, I was like, I need to like, am I missing something?
We did
I asked him,
research.
I was
We
like,
looked through other reviews, like critical reviews.
yeah,
and
and
that
I
kind
was
of stuff.
trying to
We're
get what
trying
they're
to
liking
search.
about it.
We're trying to get some clarification, but we never really got it. Besides the one, like the points that we already talked about, and then that was it.
Yeah. So I mean, if you have another point, just give me some examples, because I've had people be like, it's art because it's chaos, and it beats you up with the movie, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
That
6.
being said, that comes out to a samurai review of 6 for Uncut Gems. Since this is the last movie we'll critique for 2019, we're gonna add 1917
We're gonna tell you where they rank on the list
of our top 20 that came out in our previous video that you can go check out, provided in the link below, or in the Samurai Reviews playlist.
I'll go through mine. So, in terms of these movies, I'll start with Uncut Gems because that's going to be lower, but it is a top 20 movie of the year. I feel like there's a large gap between my 17 and 18, and I think that's where I'm going to put it. So, it's at my number 18, best movie of the year. It is creative. It's definitely a movie that you're going to go in and be like, oh, I haven't seen that before. So, that definitely has value. The acting is it's a performance worth seeing. Definitely more worth seeing than Dr. Sleep, which was there earlier. That's kind of where I'm going to put my Uncut Gems at.
This might come as a surprising thing, but Uncut Gems didn't even make it to my top 20, just because I felt Bombshell was better, and that made it in my that's my 20. Doesn't even make it in my top 20. So sorry everybody who disagrees with me, but hot takes.
As for 1917
though.
Yeah. So
where would you rank that?
I was looking at it and I actually thought it was going to be higher, in all honesty, but I was looking at my top 12 and I was like, my top 12 is good.
It's solid.
Like, those are good movies. So I'm actually going to put it at 13. What I had there before was Lady and the Tramp, followed by Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
it's just right above Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's right above Lady and the Tramp, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is right there too. That's another gap.
13.
Where there's another big drop off there. But yeah, I'm gonna put it at 13.
I put 1917 as my number 11, right after Parasite, which was my number 10, and it's right before Shazam, which was my number 11, but now number 12. And it kind of kicks down Knives Out, Captain Marvel, Harriet, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Kind of just drops.
You thought it was better than Captain Marvel and Knives Out?
I just really liked how the directing was in there, and I just give that a little bit more credit than the entertainment value of Captain Marvel.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's where we put it. Revised the list a little bit, but
comment down below what you think of our top 20 list of 2019. Just letting you know, it isn't. We haven't seen all the movies of 2019, so it's just our opinion of what we think.
I'm not going to give my opinion of something I haven't seen that's messed up. You know who you are.
Thanks for watching our review video on Uncut Gems. Thank you for all of the support that you've been giving us. For those who do watch our review videos, if this is your first time watching, subscribe and comment down below. We love to hear your opinion.
You not subscribing limits the content.
We're doing this once a week, which we can do this every day.
We can. And we have some dope shirt designs we can't do yet because of you and how you haven't subscribed. So
subscribe.
Subscribe.
See you guys next time in our next Samurai Review videos.
Perfect.